All right, welcome everybody. Everybody get signed in, got a name tag?
We ran out of name tags.
Oh, great.
You don't have yours on them.
Yeah, they ran out, so I sacrificed. If you're a guest or the first time here, raise your hand. Oh, that's amazing. Great.
A bunch of new people.
Yeah, welcome. We have the famous Rick Hendricks here with us tonight, so if you ever want to know anything about drag racing or NASCAR racing, he's your guy. So the good news is since December, we had 250 chapter members at December 31st. As of today, we have 382 followers. So that's great. We've gained 22 since the last meeting. So that's always a good thing. I think out of the 20-something chapters, we're holding on about 6th place. So what's remarkable about that is this is only our 2nd year into it. So we've come a long way. A lot of hard work, dedication, and thanks to the guys here that show up, you guys that show up every week, every month. So thank y'all for that. And
we appreciate you taking the lead.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been very enjoyable. I look forward to every meeting. Haven't missed one yet. So that's kind of remarkable in its own, but I enjoy being with you guys and hearing y'all's stories and telling where I'm trying to catch fish. I don't catch many, but I try. So with that being said, turn it over to Brian. He's going to take over and go from there. So, yes, sir.
So I get to introduce our speaker tonight. A lot of you know Colton. He's been part of us for some time. Thank you. I'm loud enough. That one probably picking me up. He's been part of the family for some time, but we asked him to come. He fishes quite a bit. He fishes, does a lot of shore fishing, fishes out of his boat. He fishes a lot. So what a better person to come and tell us all his hidden secrets. And then maybe somebody else will win the next fishing tournament that we have. But it's good to have him tonight. He fishes, he wade fishes a lot, multiple species, and I think tonight he's going to talk to us about shore fishing. And so come on up, Colton. Hey, we're going to do a new format tonight. So we're going to have like a regular question and answer session at the end after he does his spiel. So if y'all have questions, just hold them to the end, and then we'll make sure that we get around, because what we want to do is get it recorded, since we're posting this on YouTube and on Facebook now for the people that live too far away to come to the chapter meetings. That way they can experience everything that we do. So if you'll hold off, but make sure you ask them, and let's try to get everything going tonight. I appreciate it. Come on up, Colton.
Just clip it on. I told them to make me look skinnier in those pictures. I don't know what happened. All right. Does that make a difference or no?
You will.
No, I meant this microphone. All right, guys. Well, hey, thank y'all for having me. I'm a recreational fisherman. That's what I do during the week. I work just like everybody, right? But I really do appreciate y'all having me. And I hope y'all learned something from it, and I think it'll be enjoyable. I'm excited to talk to y'all about it. So as y'all can see, there's just some main thing I'm talking about is summertime surf fishing. I do chase fish all year long, and that's what I enjoy doing. I love to learn their migration periods and what baits are feeding on when and how and all that stuff. And that's, I kind of nerd out on that a little bit. I started surf fishing more so for what you see up in the right corner there. I put that one picture in there for that because, hey, when people say surf fishing, the first thing we think of is first thing I think of is like pompano, whiting, fishing in the surf on set rigs. And that's how I started off. I grew up fishing. My family, we did something a little different. We started off with like a 26-foot offshore boat, and then we went to a 22-foot inshore boat, and then by the time I was in high school, my dad had like a 16-foot aluminum boat. So I don't know, we kind of went a little backwards there. But with that being said, I had an opportunity and experience it all. Kind of got out of fishing, and then back in 2020, I got back into it. Sure and glad I have. Met some really awesome people along the way, and it's been really, really enjoyable. So I started off surf fishing with for like pompano and set rig fishing. You know, get a little beach cart, go out on the beach, throw it out there, sit down, watch sunrise. Fun thing. But that's not what we're really talking about tonight. As I met other people, and I met one particular individual that I consider as a mentor, he taught me more about summertime surf fishing, because if y'all ever messed around with the pompano and stuff, around particularly like end of May, June, July, August, those hot months and stuff, it's not really an easy species to target. At the time, I didn't have a boat, so I'm doing everything land-based, right? So I was like, I'm going to go fish with this guy, and he taught me a lot. And a lot of what he taught me, I'm going to show tonight, and then years and many hours fishing are some other techniques and ways that I've, refined it. So you want to go on to the next slide? So the first thing I want to talk about is why, when, and where. So why are the fish there, right? They don't stay there all year long. You're going to be a little disappointed if you go and fish in the surf for speckled trout, particularly redfish or flounder, in like, let's say February. February, the flounder actually could be there. I caught my PB flounder in February in the surf, random. But speckled trout and redfish particularly, you're not going to see as many of them. So why are the fish there? Number one reason is they're spawning, right? They're doing their spawn thing. They're hanging out. They're making baby trout, and that's wonderful for us. But the things that bring them there is going to be, the first thing is your water temps. I didn't put all the information in there, but typically when you see the water temps get to around 80 degrees, is 82 technically, is what triggers the trout to say, hey, it's time to go make baby trout. And they start swimming down there to the surf, and they've been in mud bottoms all winter, right? They've been hanging out, trying to stay cool. Now they're kind of like, all right, it's hot. I'm going to go chase some bait. I'm going to go out to the surf. So they go out there and they start their spawn thing. Another thing is they have to have salinity to spawn. That's a very important part. I wish I could tell you what parts per thousand it is. I'm sure some of y'all know that, and I apologize for not knowing that, but it is a part per thousand that it does take for them to spawn. All right, and then the next thing is oxygen levels, right? We've all been seeing the jubilees they've been having. A lot of that is due to oxygen levels. So those trout are definitely going to be south towards that salty, aerated water, and the sandy bottom is something else that they really look for. Oyster shells is also a good hard bottom, or grass. There's a decent amount of grass, especially on this side of the bay. If you go towards Fort Pickens area? What's that area going towards this way, towards Pensacola? It's a private little beach. Yes, there's a lot of grass on the back of Johnson Beach. I actually had an opportunity to surf fish that. I fished on the back side of it, and a lot of grass and a lot of trout over there in the summertime. So I didn't need a boat or nothing. I walked over there on my feet. You do have to have a little access card to get in there. So anyways, but those are the reasons they're there. So when do they start showing up? Typically around May is when I start seeing the trout show up, right? That's the main thing that I'm targeting in the surf is speckled trout. You do catch redfish, they're there, and flounder. But the main thing I'm talking about is speckled trout, right? And then they stay there usually through September. So they're still there right now, right? But there is one thing, think of a fulcrum, right? A peak. There is a peak, and that is actually the summer solstice. If you look at your bite is going to peak at the summer solstice. So I actually looked it up. Y'all can correct me, but I just looked it up. It said that June 20th this past year was the summer solstice. So, fish don't have a clock like we do, right? They can't check their time and say, oh yeah, it's 6:09 on August 12th. They don't have calendars, they don't have clocks. But what they do have is the sun. So they go by the sun and knowing when that is. So when you have the longest day of the year is when these fish are saying, hey, it's spawn time, we're out here, it's hot, it peaks. So June is typically, and the 1st of July is a really, really good time to do this type of fishing, and it definitely goes into August where we're at now and will last through September. So you get your best bites, like anything, early in the morning and then in the evenings. But around that solstice period, I've caught them in the middle of the day on topwater. I've done it many a times. I've caught them on mirrodines, which I'm going to go over a bunch of lures here in a second. But, mirrodines and stuff like that do extremely well. I like SaltStrong products. I use the Mulligan. It's a 5-inch paddle tail. It mimics a lot of the bait fish that you see out there. You could use the Moonwalker or any kind of jerk bait. Just because I use that particular brand, you can use any of them, right? So where to cast to catch them? I know that's kind of a funny thing, but that actually matters, right? I think of fishing like a dartboard. You got to hit the right spot. The fish will congregate, and SaltStrong talks about a 90-10 area, right? So that is a true fact. So it's all about the cuts, which is interesting because that kind of goes back to my pompano days. That it's similar. There's some tie in there, and the cut, sandbar, troughs, and how the tide affects that location. So that kind of carries me to this next image here. I know that's a little blurry. I'm sorry. I tried to get the pixelation and all that stuff right. I told you I'm a fence. I build fences. I'm not a tech guy, okay, guys. So, but I try. So the biggest thing is, got my handy dandy pointer here. So the biggest thing is these cuts. All right, that's what a cut looks like on digital. Perfect world. This is like the perfect cut. This is what it looks like in real life. Just messy and all over the place. So it's kind of harder to see, right? But you can still see a deep trough here. You can kind of see the waves here. You got waves here, but right here, you don't really see that many waves. Now, sometimes what I do is I just walk out there. I mean, when I start here and then I get to about here, I'm like, okay, this is deep hole, and then I go back and fish it. To be honest with you, I do that. So Rodney's been fishing with me. Where's Rodney at? Rodney's been with me. I walk around in circles out there. Rodney's like, where's Colton going? And I'm like, I found the cut. It's right here, Rodney. It's like, up to here. I'm swimming. I'm like, it's right here. So, that's a good way to do it too, but obviously that disturbs the fish. So once you learn where those cuts are at, they typically stay there throughout the year. The only thing that will affect them is a hurricane, right? That's going to mess up your beach. The beach is ever changing, A lot of times the cuts actually move from east to west. So if your cut was a little bit to the east, as it carries through the year, a lot of times your currents will run that way. So if it was over there, you might just want to maybe it's 25, 35, 100 yards that way. Just kind of look for it, So how do the tides affect it? All right, let's say it's Saturday morning. I'm going out there, and high tide's at 10 o'clock. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm literally going to throw right here. I mean, almost like where my ankles are going to be. I'm not going to throw right there. I'm going to throw a little past it because the first place these trout will be in the morning times on an incoming tide, they'll push the bait almost onto the beach. So use the beach ledge there as a way to attack. So when I first started fishing, a lot of times I felt like I probably walked right through the fish and didn't know it. As I learned more and practiced more, made a lot of mistakes, at times I'd be standing there and I'd throw behind me. I'm like, doggone it, the fish are behind me, right? I walk straight through them. So now when I get there, I kind of do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cast thing. 1, 2, 3. I mean, you don't have to do it that way. It's the way I do it, right? We all learn different ways. But when I first get there, I'm not even in the water. I'm going to hit my spots. If they're not there, if they're not going to be here, right? The next place they're going to be on incoming tide is right there on that ledge, right? So actually what you would do is you might want to be standing right here and you would cast on top of the sandbar and you would move your lure over the sandbar. When you're about right there, you're going to get hit, right? You're going to throw, boom. I know that's not perfect, but what they're doing is there's a contour change, right? So you flat here, drops down there. I didn't have a picture of that, but y'all can envision what I'm saying. Trout will sit there and look up, right? They feed they look up the whole time, and that's how they prefer to feed. And they'll attack that lure from when it comes over the top of that ledge. I've had really good luck doing that. And then the third place that you'll typically see them on is just simply this point, So you can kind of throw here and kind of throw into the cut and then bring it past that point. And usually right around here is usually where you'll pop one. It's not always the case, guys. I went fishing the other day, last Friday. I fished in the surf for about an hour, and guess what happened to me? I got skunked, and it was bad. It was humbling, and I'm like, golly, I got to do a presentation next week. I feel like I don't know anything. Luckily, I did go other places, and I found some, right? But that's what it takes. Is sometimes they're not on this cut. There may be another one down here. There may be another one. Maybe another one. Keep pushing. Me and Rodney went fishing before, and we didn't have a good day. And I left and went somewhere, and Rodney went somewhere else, and we found them. It ended up being a great day. So the next thing is, how does a falling tide affect these fish, right? So what I would do on a falling tide is you would walk out to this sandbar and you would actually stand on this sandbar. And a lot of times your fish are going to be literally right here, right on the edge of it. I've had times before I'll throw out there and I would just throw to that chair right there, and literally about where that podium is where I'd get my strike. and I'd have to back up a little bit, or even I would step away and I would literally just try to throw down the sandbar. It's all about the direction of the wind on that, which I'm going to talk about wind here in a second. But I would throw down the backside of that sandbar because it's the same presentation to those fish, right? They're going to be on the backside, staged up, looking up, and they're going to hit. I have had to walk out here. I've had to walk on top of the sandbar and throw it as far as I possibly can out here in the back. And I've caught them on a falling tide. Very, very rarely do you have to throw that far on a high tide coming in. Try it in all places, right? Before you just completely nix the spot. But if it's the incoming tide, this would be the last place I would try. And if it was a falling tide, right up against the beach would be the last place I would try. On a falling tide, you can still kind of pick around the bar a little bit, right? That's but that's it. And then y'all kind of see the structure here on what that is. So I'm good on that slide if you guys want to go to the next. So the next thing is weather conditions, which is the wind. Wind, for me particularly, is the number one thing that I look at when I go fishing. That's just my opinion. Maybe it's because I got a small boat. Maybe it's because I don't like dealing with it. I don't know. Wind can be really good for fish. You know, I've caught them with the wind in my face, rough as heck. I don't like fishing it, but I've done it before. So what is the best wind, assuming we're surf fishing, right, is going to be a light wind, first of all. A light wind to me is anything under 15 miles per hour. Anything over 15 miles per hour is very tough to fish in the surf. I think this morning was probably right at 15. So it was pumping pretty good, and that's pretty rough. A light wind is good. A north wind is great. A north wind is a little forgiving, right? If you got a 15-mile-an-hour north wind, it's a little bit more forgiving versus a 15-mile-an-hour south wind or east or west wind that's going to be more of a crosswind or in your face. It's a little more difficult. Or just any light wind in general. You want a little ripple on the water, right? But, you know, you want it to be fairly calm. So those are the type of wind directions that I like to look for. And then the next thing is your surf height. I say calm because that helps a lot, but really you want a little ripple up to about 2 feet. Anything over 2 feet, you can definitely fish it, but it's difficult, right? I mean, that's not going to be the ideal situation. In that situation, I go to the Johnson Beach area and fish on the backside of Johnson Beach, right, where that grass is, where you're more wind protected, you know, or find some area. There's other areas that you can go to. There's just no reason to go out there and beat yourself up when there's other options. But we're talking about surf fishing, so I don't want to get off topic there. And then we already talked about the tide, right? In my experience, high tide is usually the best. And, you know, in the summertime, high tide's always in the morning, right? And you got lower tide in the evening. So in the summertime, you're typically going to see your tide coming in the morning. And I typically do better on a morning bite than I do an afternoon bite. I've caught them in the afternoon on a falling tide many a times. But my quality fish usually come on an incoming tide first thing in the morning. All right, and then the last thing is water conditions. Maybe that shouldn't be, water conditions should go up a little higher on that, because if it's terrible looking water, I mean, I do encourage you, try other things, you know what I mean? So, if you can click on that wind finder, how hard is that? Oh, okay, that's fine. If you can't click on it, no big deal. Y'all can, if you want to get your phones out or whatever y'all want to do. Oh, yeah, you're good. The wind finder is a link, or I think they have an app. I don't know if I got the app downloaded on my phone. What's that? Wind finder. Yeah, it's literally it's right there's wind and then finder. It's a really good app. It shows you the actual surf, right? And it also shows you obviously wind directions. It'll show you the high and low tide. It's a really good tool that I use. I have it on my favorites here, and like if you look at it right now, all right. Oh, there you go.
Just slow.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, you're good. You can go to right there, like kind of around the Mobile area where it says 100 plus. Like it's actually on top of Florida, but it'll zoom you in. You just got to kind of. I'm sorry, when I downloaded it, it was supposed to be Mobile. I guess it. So that. There you go. You can pick spots as you zoom in. You can pick different areas and locations and stuff. But I guess for now, let's. You want to go to like right there around Kiva Dunes, right, like to your left a little bit. Or Gulf Shores is fine. Either one of them. Right there. So that we're going to see the wind right now is 10 miles per hour. It looks like out of the south. Are you able to click the forecast? And it should show you that. There you go. So this will kind of show you the different the wind directions and what the surf height is. If you see right here where it says wave height is what you're looking at, and then wave period is also important. But those two things, if you have a real tight wave period, it's going to be real ripply. I like a little bit, anything from 3 to 4 to 5 seconds is decent, but 5 seconds is good. When you start getting into the threes and stuff, it's a little choppy, right? So that's one thing that I look at, and then obviously the wind direction and the wind speed. I mean, when you start seeing 21, 24, I'm not. Y'all can do it. I'm not going on the surf. I'm finding somewhere else to fish. That's just going to be a nightmare. It's going to be hard on you. It really is. When you start seeing those 7, the 9, the 7, stuff like that, under 10, you're good to go. If you ever look up there, and I think if you go later into the week, I don't know if it shows it or not. Maybe if you scroll down.
Here's the days up here.
Yeah, try Thursday. I think Thursday's supposed to be calm.
No.
Thursday's not calm. Well, anyways, as you go, you can see different wind speed. Saturday? Let's check it out. Oh, yeah. So look, like Saturday morning, for an example, you have a high tide at 3:44. It's going to start falling, right?
You know where Colton's going to be Saturday.
Hey, now, yeah. Yeah, it's pretty calm here. You got 1.3 right here on the height. 1.3, that's under 2. That's really cool, right? You got a 4-second wave. Wind's not bad at all. That's not a bad morning. Now, you're going to walk out there and the tide's going to be falling. I doubt the fish are going to be right up on the beach, but they're going to be around that cut still. 1.3 is going to be fairly high. And then you got a good falling tide. So as the day goes on, the morning goes on, you kind of work yourself out to that bar and start fishing off the backside of that bar, right? That's probably how that would go Saturday morning if y'all were wanting to get out there. Fort Morgan is really good right now too. A lot of people have been catching trout around Fort Morgan area. Oh yeah, real nice one. So I mean that the reason that area and Dolphin Island is really good. I do a lot of fishing at Dolphin Island because where I live, but Fort Morgan and Dolphin Island are really good. And the reason that is because that bar comes so close in. If you go towards like Orange Beach and stuff, the bar is real far pulled out. You can still catch them there. I've done it before, but it's not as easy to catch them as it is when that bar is closer. It's just the way the bar structure is. So it's the way God made it, right? So, and the only other tool, and I don't even know if we have to necessarily pull that up. The other one was, okay, there it is. So that is not today. This tool here is great. The only problem is when it's cloudy outside, you can't use it. What this does is it shows water clarity. And as you kind of go through the time frames there, I think if you go towards the bottom there, it probably gets like real, it's a little pixelated, but you can see different times on how the water looks. So you see how the clouds will mess it up. You have to, if it's a bluebird, day. But okay, this is a good example. Go back if you don't mind, sir. All right, so here you got some clouds and stuff. The odds are it probably rained a day or two before that. And you can kind of see how some of that mud, especially over at Dolphin Island and the cloud cover and stuff is over there. I don't know if that's mud or cloud cover, but I'm assuming that it's going to be some type of mud. If I was going to pick, am I going to drive all the way over to Dolphin Island and do it? Or maybe I just want to go over here on the Fort Morgan side or back. I mean, to me, it looks like the water's more clear here. So that kind of gives you that water clarity deal. The link on that is on that little presentation. I don't remember what that's called. It's called Worldview. Okay, that's it. Worldview.earthdata.nasa. And all that other stuff below it was supposed to be...
It got right to it.
Okay. It did? Okay. Well, that's a good tool. That's a good tool to use throughout the year. Okay. So that was that.
You can change that little pointer at the bottom and change the way it looks. Just slider, see that pointer at the bottom? Move that forward.
Oh, yeah. They tell us how to use it. Okay, yeah.
See, it clears up.
Rodney, you've used this before, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. Every day.
And it's pretty dead on, isn't it?
Yeah. Especially when the water's really muddy.
Yeah, I mean, it's good for the bay, too. I mean, it's good for a lot of resources. I mean, water quality is important. I mean, it is. Especially if you're using artificials and stuff. I mean, it can make a difference. It really can. This one's a little frustrating with the cloud cover. So that's the only bad part of that. But it is kind of cool to be able to see it. So, see that day.
The SaltStrong link that you go to look for satellites, is basically this.
Okay.
Same.
So SaltStrong has something similar. So yeah, if that, I wasn't. I'm sorry, I didn't aware of all the tools, but I know that's sure that's one of them they have, and I'm sure SaltStrong has something similar to Windfinder too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it's something
They
similar.
got a really nice,
Yeah.
wind
Yeah.
forecasting.
I ain't gonna hold all of it against you.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to wear my hat now. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
too busy catching fish.
Yeah. I get stuck on some. I'm a little old school. I get stuck in my ways, right? I'm still trying to figure out all the Chat GPT stuff and all that stuff. Oh Lord, that's you would think my generation I'd be like, oh, doing that all the time. No, I hate it. So, all right. The last thing I think was on there was like lures, pretty much, and that was pretty much the last thing was bait, best lures and bait and stuff. There we go. And so the best lures and bait, my favorite is topwater. That's just me, right? I love topwater. Maybe it's because of the explosion. I don't know what it is. I've caught my best fish on topwater. That's it. It's a lot. It's forgiving. You know, if the water's a little dingy, they'll still hit it. If it's a little rough, they'll find it. I always have a saying that if you're throwing topwater, you're not catching a trout, they're not there. And that's just my opinion. Now, they may be, but that's just kind of a joke that I have. I love pink. Pink is just a color that I really like. And then also I like a bone color first thing in the morning. I brought some of my stuff. I just, not that this is the best stuff in the whole entire world, but a lot of times when I go to the beach and I go fishing, this is what I look like. This is it. I don't carry anything else. I mean, this is as simple as it gets. I became addicted to surf fishing because of how simple it was. And to me, fishing is supposed to be fun. If I'm overthinking it and bringing 1,000, first time I went surf fishing, I brought 3 fishing poles. I broke one, and I had 2 tackle bags on each side. And when I got back, my wife looked at me and she said, "What in the world have you been doing?" Because I looked like I was worn out. And I was like, "That's not what fishing is, right? It's supposed to be fun." So if I backlash this rod, I'm going home, right? I take one rod with me a lot of times, and it pushes me to stick with certain lures because a lot of times, if you're not catching them, it's because they're not there. It's just being honest. You know what I mean? Lures can make a difference. They do. And I've seen that before. But a lot of times, if you're not catching them, it's because the fish just aren't there. You got to move around a little bit. So I just want to show you how simple that piece was. I'm not going to bore you with all the lures. If y'all want to come hang out with me, I'll show you the 5 lures I got in there. I think that's all I take on me when I go. Like I said, this is one of my favorite topwaters, a pink topwater. I like the MR18 Mirrodine. I'm sure there's something comparable in the SaltStrong, and I'm sure there's something comparable to the Top Dog in the Mirrodine. I don't think that those particular lures are the best. That's just what I use. I 100% think any topwater will do, right? Any twitch bait will do. I like the MR because it's a little bit heavier, right? In the surf, with all those waves and everything beating around, I like to have a little bit extra weight. The MR18 is a little bit heavier than the MR17, right? That's the reason I like to use that. The paddle tail, y'all see that. Y'all probably recognize that. That's the mulligan. I really like that one. This time of year, that mulligan will work. There's a little mullet all over the beach right now, guys, everywhere. The thing this weekend was doing some work. It didn't catch a doggone big trout, but it caught a bunch of them, I'll tell you that. And then, hey, the last thing, and especially you see this in the late summer, which is right now, I use live croaker. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'll do some croaker soaking, and I catch some nice trout doing that too. I like to use my artificial as long as possible, but there does come a certain time where that switch is important. And hey, I don't get to fish all the time. When I do go, I want to catch a fish sometimes, right? But there are times that artificial will outfish that croaker and vice versa. So those are the baits that I use. My thing, and I've always tried to do, is simplify fishing as much as possible because I don't have as much time to do it, right? None of us do. When we go, I want it to be simple. I want it to be effective, and I want to enjoy it and have fun. I don't want to stress too much about it. But I bought a boat a year and a half ago or so, and sometimes I just get so frustrated. I'm like, I'm keeping that doggone boat in the garage, and I'm grabbing that bag and that rod, and I'm just going to go out there and have some fun. And that's what I love about surf fishing because that's what you can do with it. You can go out there with a rod and reel, 1 or 2 lures, and walk down the beach, watch the sunset, and catch fish and have fun, right? So that's the reason I love it. If you haven't tried it yet, I'd really encourage you to do it. Even if you don't catch anything, I mean, hey, there's nothing wrong going to walk down the beach, right? So that was it, guys. I got the last little thing saying questions. You see that bucket over there? Rodney caught every single one of those fish that day. So I don't know. That bucket's actually from a day me and you went, Rodney. I didn't say that.
So questions? Got questions? Anybody?
So was the table the one you saw?
No, I think that was a day actually I went with some buddies of mine and we just caught a few for a fish fry. So, yep.
There you go.
Oh,
I'm new to the area.
yes, sir.
And he was talking about Fort Morgan.
Mm-hmm.
How do you get around to the beach there? Is there certain roads that go over there or what? I've been over by.
Yeah. Are y'all able to pull up that Google Earth thing?
Right before the state park on the left,
Yeah.
there's a pull-off that only goes about maybe 100 yards, and there's like 10 spots, and then it's a paved walk. It stops, and then it's a paved walkway about 200 yards to the beach,
Mm-hmm.
and that's where a majority of the people.
Yeah, that's where a lot of the people will go to get to that area. I mean, I want to say it's right before you get to the fort, right?
It is.
Yeah, and you just take a left. I think the locals call it maybe the road that goes nowhere or something. I don't know if that's
Before
true
the
or
wall,
not.
before you
But
cross the wall, it's on the left.
Okay.
yeah, and that's a good area. Usually when I go there, there's some good bar. If you go to the left, there's decent bar structure.
I got one more question
Yeah.
too. I was looking on the app and I was seeing that down by there's a wall like when you're on wherever that road is going from Orange Beach. I mean from Gulf Shores there, Perdido and all that.
Okay.
I think there's like it's an overpass, it's a bridge right there, and then I see a lot of people fishing right before you go over that. Have you fished that before? There's there's a bunch of restaurants.
Yeah, you're talking about you're talking about the pass, right? Yeah, I think you're talking about Perdido Pass. Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's definitely a lot of fish there. My only experience I've ever done really good there is Sheep's Head, like in March and stuff. Yeah, yeah. And I want to be honest with you, sir, too. So I'm from Mobile, like West Mobile area. Dolphin Island area is where I do a lot of my fishing. But the Perdido Pass area, I do know that people do fish here year round. And honestly, some of these gentlemen in here will probably know that better than me. So
Well, we just moved to Alberta.
Yeah.
And we're from.
You ought to try that Johnson Beach area. That's close to Alberta.
Well, we go over there for the beach. I'm a veteran, so
yeah. So you get like free access to it. Yeah. So if you go right now on the back side of Johnson Beach, there's a lot of grass and stuff. I'd say grab a topwater one early morning or one afternoon after work and just work that topwater for about an hour or two before sunset or sunrise or after sunrise.
I'm kind of, maybe it's weird. I've always been, this is all new to me, this surf fishing and all that stuff. I've fished lakes and streams up in Missouri and, and all that.
Yeah.
And it's a completely different world.
Yeah.
And so, but I don't fish when it's hot because I'm not comfortable.
Sure.
About being, it's when it's not fun. It's not fun for me.
Yeah, and that's honestly one of the reasons I love wade fishing is because it does keep you cool.
Yeah, well, that's why I'm waiting for fall to get here.
Oh yeah, and fall's a great time to fish too. October's a great month. So.
First summer, yes, it'll be a lot better.
Yeah.
Well, we have a snowbirded down here. I retired 2 years ago, and we snowbirded. We stayed over at Magnolia Farm in our camper. And it was beautiful. We were here in January, February, and March, and that's when I fell in love with it down here. And I was like, "This is great." So
Yeah, I moved up to Maine, and I'll tell you that first winter, I thought I was going to die.
We're from
Next winter, I
Maine.
was okay.
Yeah.
We're from Maine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Any other
43 inches in one day. I said that's it, honeymoon's home.
questions?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Winter.
We got a question right here.
Are there the kind of beach structures you're talking about off of Dolphin Island?
They can be if you want to go over here to Fort Morgan. I know of one. I can show you some beach structures in the. They're on Dolphin Island. They're just along the beach. The closer the bar is to the beach, it can be a little easier. So if you want to go to that little road, I think that's it right there. There you go. And here's my little pointer. There's the road right there. I think what is that called? I'm gonna let y'all figure that one out. Buckaloni. Yeah, this view is a little unforgiving with the waves, isn't it?
Go up just a little so they can see the parking. That helps them understand.
Yeah, so a lot of times people will park all down this road pretty much. So.
Yeah, you can only park about the halfway, and then you got to walk.
Okay.
Yeah, then you got to walk.
Okay, there you go.
There you go. That's the parking spot right there.
Yeah. You want to, the waves in there kind of make it look a little, is there maybe like another image of some sort? You can go to Dolphin Island if you want. I can show some areas. But as far as the bar structure, I know if you go here recently, I've been going here and walking to the left, and there's a couple of good cuts there. The thing I always look for are like breaker waves. You know what I mean? You want to look for like you kind of look down the beach, and you'll see like the breaks of the waves. And then I don't fish the wave break, but I'll fish, maybe 10 yards or so to the right or the left or in front of it or something, because those trout, they just like the ledges is really what they're going for.
Breaking
So,
not cut, right?
well, if it's breaking, there's not a cut, but there's going to be like some type of sandbar there, and there's going to be a depth change. So a lot of times when you see the breakers, they'll be, if you want to go to Dolphin Island, I can show you some places too, especially down here. I think on the map, it's easier to see, like right here.
Yeah. I see my spot.
Yeah.
Hey, Colton, I've always heard that.
I'm sorry. It's a little bit to the west, sir. I'm sorry.
I've always heard the science behind the waves is when the sand comes up and it forces the water to turn over.
Yeah.
So anywhere that you look and you don't see waves breaking, then you know that
There's more depth there. That's correct. Yeah.
That's how you can stand at the beach.
Yeah, you can definitely stand when you're standing at the beach and you're looking across it. You can definitely see where the waves are turning on the sandbar, and then when you look, that's what picture I was trying to explain. When you look and there's more depth in an area, when it rolls, it's rolling on the bottom there, not the sandbar, right? So that's what's creating the wave. So
The hard part is when you get there at night, you can't see, and the sun comes up, and you've been fishing like 20 feet to the wrong direction.
yes, or when there's when it's flat calm too, But yeah, if you get there, so one thing I've done that many a times. It's funny you say that because if you get there first thing in the morning, and you didn't like go there before. So what I'll do is a lot of times, and I see other people do it too. They'll get a stick and stick it in the ground. And y'all probably going down the beach and seeing sticks sticking in the ground. And when I see another stick sticking in the ground, I'm like, oh, there's a stick. Let me see. What is that out there? Because somebody else probably stuck it there, right? But yeah. Just don't let when you leave, pick your sticks. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Oh yeah, throw them off. Take it like 20 yards down and stick it in there. Be like, next. Yeah. So here's some contours here. Is this the west end of Dolphin Island? Yeah. So if y'all know Tanner Dees and stuff, he fishes. Yes, ma'am.
Where do you fish at on Dolphin Island?
This is one of the spots, and then I can go to Middle Beach too, and there's just.
Where do you park?
So this is a parking lot here. If you drive all the way to the end, you can park right here. Yeah, literally until the road won't go no more, and then you park right here. I do want to say it's like a $10, $15 parking. Okay, is that what it is? Yeah. And then,
Is that about the end of the summer?
Yeah.
does it?
Yeah, in the fall they don't charge.
Okay. I haven't driven it in a little while, guys. I'll be honest with you. A lot of times I'll launch my boat and I'll run, and I'll actually anchor my boat on this side and then just walk across. So I haven't, now that I haven't, but
Across to the other side.
if you have a boat, you can definitely, if you have a boat, you can go park, you can anchor it on this.
Don't have a boat.
Okay. If you don't, then you can park right here and you can walk down here pretty easily. And that's what I was saying. Some of these,
Sails.
yeah, and some of these cuts right here are perfect fishing. Like I was saying, Tanner Dees, this cut right here, a lot of these are good. So, this is that you can kind of see right here. That would be a good one. So like you can kind of see some of the deeper areas. There's a little bar, and I guarantee you, you walk out there, the waves will be busting right there, and then on each side it'll be deeper. Yeah, it's just right there, and you can that trough is probably within, from me to the wall, you can cast to it. So, and I would assume that's probably, check my math, but I couldn't imagine that being much more than a quarter-mile walk down the beach. And yeah, he does fish those spots a lot, and yeah. So these cuts are real good, and then if you want to zoom out, there's another beach too. It's called Middle Beach.
Yeah. That's one of mine.
Yeah. It's to the east, sir. Yeah. And then it'll just go in there. Right there where it says Blue Heron Park. Yeah. And this is the golf course here. There's multiple little edges there that you can fish too.
The south side of it is all contoured.
Mm-hmm.
But the golf course is all just flat as a pancake.
Yep.
And there's no structure, there's no drop off, there's no nothing.
Yes, sir.
I fish a lot, but all the way out.
Oh, you're good. I was saying you can go a little bit to the northwest.
Dolphin Island's here,
Yeah. So you can, yeah, these are some cuts. You can obviously see all those cuts. That's going to be a little bit of a walk because where you park here, it's actually the Dolphin Island. Yeah, all these cuts, you can definitely walk there. That's probably about from the parking lot to looking at that, it's probably about 1.5 mile walk or so. But hey, if you're just walking and you just feel like it, it's not that bad, guys. It really isn't. I mean, no, yeah, I like to get there, and then what I try to do is I try to catch my fish and be out of there by 8 when she shows up, and a lot of times I'm waving at her, going, "Didn't get me today." I'm kidding. I would never do that. I do it sometimes, but yeah. Sometimes if you ever see me running down the beach at 7:50, it's because I'm trying not to get a ticket, right? So, yeah, and this here's that's the Dolphin Island Old Pier, and if you zoom out just a tick, when you pull into Dolphin Island, there's a parking lot there, guys. So you would go to the island, you would take a right. Yep, it's right there by the elementary school. Park there. There's a couple of different paths that you can go down here or here. Oh yeah, Middle Beach is really good. Those are the two areas that I hit on Dolphin Island, and then Fort Morgan. I mean, I kind of limited to those three. If you do have a boat and you're willing to drive, you can launch at the Ladnier or some of the other launches. You can drive down the beach on the backside of the bay, and then a lot of times I'll throw my anchor out and then just walk across and fish the beach. If you have that opportunity, do it. If not, I promise y'all guys, there's plenty of fish within a mile from that parking lot. All about covering water. It's all about throwing, just being at the right place at the right time sometimes, But there's definitely fish there.
That island's covered with it too.
What's that, sir?
The whole north side of the island.
The north side is. And I'm trying my best to stay. So, yeah, I'm trying my best to stay on topic. But right now, if y'all want me to be honest with you, this weekend I fished. And you're right. The north side is covered. And there's grass flats over there, and the oyster pods and stuff like that are really hot right now. The shoals are good. Even like around the mouths of Heron Bay, and pretty much any of the islands, like Coffee Island, any south part of those islands. If you're feeling a wild hair and you feel like going over to Pascagoula, Round Island is hot right now. Backside of Petty Boy is good. Horn Island, all those areas are really good right now. You can still catch trout in the surf, but the best month to catch trout in the surf is June. It really is. And June, around that solstice. Around that solstice is really when you want to hammer them down on the surf. They're still there. Okay, I promise you they are. I'm trying to, but you're absolutely right. The backside is very good right now, and you can fish there 100% by walking. So. Oh yeah.
I went on a trip with Tanner.
Yes, yeah. Tanner's very good.
A veterans trip, and I let him use my boat. We all went out on my boat.
There you go.
He went down pretty much all the way almost to the west end.
Mm-hmm.
All the way, and then just beached the boat and just walked the beach.
Yeah. Did you? And there's like some CCA reefs and stuff down there, like some posts and stuff. Usually when you, usually between, I don't know what it is about that second one, but kind of between that, around that second one, it's a lot of grass and stuff there, and it does do well. You're right. It's very good fishing. Hey, if you got a boat,
you can feel the grass coming up to your.
Yeah. What size boat you got?
26 and a half.
26. Okay, maybe a little. Well, what you could do is oyster pods too. You know how when you're running, you see the little black oyster pods and stuff? Those are really good, especially in September. Those get good. So I have a little bit smaller boat. I'll go up in them, man. I'll go up. I'll beat my boat up on whatever. It's not the best idea. Yeah, kayak is great. Yeah, you can. It's a long paddle, but you can.
I'm not going for
Yes, sir. Yeah. Well, thank y'all for having me. Any other questions or anything?
Any other questions?
You ever target flounder?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I tried this weekend with everything in me. I did. We caught a decent amount. My favorite thing to do with flounder, again, I live in Mobile, so I'll launch like industrial canal area, and but you can do it over here too, like Weeks Bay area, or even north, like coming down the Tensas River. A lot of those piers and hard structures and stuff hold flounder really good this time of year, and then later into August you can really start catching them. Like up into, and even now, I do a lot of fishing in the Mobile River too. That's like 15 minutes from my house. So there's really good fishing there. But as far as surf fishing for flounder, like around May and stuff, there'll really be a decent amount. You'll bycatch them like crazy, especially if I'm fishing like a jig on the bottom. So yeah, they I love flounder fish. It's my favorite fish to eat personally. Flounder is. So not my favorite fish to fish for though. It's
Well, I just remember, years ago, this is probably, 20 years ago.
Yes, sir.
An article about going to the west end on the bay in the Mississippi Sound side.
Mhm.
When you get past all the houses, wait till the grass starts to come out to the bay.
Sure.
And just you getting about, they said 6 foot of water, anchor your boat. White jig head with a duster and a strip of white trout.
Yeah, you can spot it.
Boat twice. If you don't catch anything, move a little bit.
Yeah, find them.
And just keep heading west. And,
Yeah.
I didn't know if you ever tried that. Buddy and I were talking about it today.
Yeah, I personally, just because of, like I said, location of where I live, if you want me to be dead honest with you, I do a lot on the, like, if you're looking at Mobile, like between, like, Mobile River, like for flounder and stuff, down to about where East Fowl River is. So I'm always hitting those docks. I'll fish East Fowl for flounder. I'll fish Dog River for flounder. Right now, the Dog River flats are real good for flounder too. Again, that's not the best place in the world to fish. That's simply because I live 15 minutes from there, and if there's fish there, there's fish. You know what I'm saying? But I've heard of people doing very well with that too. My stepdad, he actually talks about that, something similar. So especially the strip of trout, like you were saying. It does work still, by the way. People don't do that as much, but it does work. I've done it before, and it works.
I tell you, I missed the last meeting, with the meeting before you were here talking, and we were zooming in on spots that you had gone on your, I guess, spring break. And
Oh, okay.
Johnson Beach. So I took my boat down there that weekend.
Yeah.
And I was going to fish, but then I'd gotten behind leaving. I left late, like 9 o'clock from the house, and I left up to 25.
Oh, okay.
So it's a ride for me. I
Yeah.
got there, I launched at the campground, which is closed right now.
Right.
But launched there, rode down to where we were talking, and found a sandy spot inside the grass.
Yeah.
Anchored, catching some sun, the white, my God, redfish.
Oh yeah, everywhere. Yeah.
Running all around the boat like crazy. And I was
Yeah.
dying out of rock.
Oh yeah. There's some good fish down there. If you do live on, if you live off of 225, if you launch right there on like hooked up and fish down Tensall, you probably already know all this, but I mean, you got a lot of those flats over there against, when you first come down the Tensall River, coming past the interstate, there's a real good flat over there to the left. It's got a decent amount of like timber and stuff. I've done really good there for redfish and flounder. And then of course you get south, you got all those piers and everything, Daphne Palins and all that stuff.
Yeah, they
So-
normally, used to fish, North Pass,
Mhm.
Turtle Ditch, that, but it's changed a lot.
It has.
The hard bottoms disappeared. You got
Yeah.
money. So we'll go over to where Lake Forest
Mhm.
Yacht Club channel comes out.
Yeah.
Fish that, but it's again changing. Used to have a lot more grass. Now it's a lot of underwater, like algae growing through there.
Sure. Yeah, it gets a little tricky. I know. I know what you're saying. Through the years, I've seen it change too. So it definitely. But anyways,
Do you
All
notice the difference in
Hey.
the fall, flounder migration getting a lot more better flounder fishing
this year or
any year?
I'm sorry. So you're saying like if I know?
Flounder migration, I heard, they all start digging out.
Right. Yes, sir. I guess as far as like when's the best time to catch them, I would usually the best time to catch flounder from my experience is like end of August, 1st of September seems to be pretty good. But then also November, I think they know they can't be kept. And I promise I catch my biggest one in November. Like every year, I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, oh, okay, there's my 5-pound flounder I've been looking for all year, but I got to throw him back now. You know what I mean? So that's normally how it goes for me. But I really do when it gets real hot like that. And I also like it because normally then they're pretty pushed up into like a creek and stuff. They're kind of bipolar opposite of what trout are. And don't get, to me they kind of are. You know how the flounder will push in when the trout are pulled out and vice versa. I don't know. So, yep. All righty.
Awesome.
All righty. Well,
We
here's
appreciate
your.
it. Let's give him a hand, everybody.
All right, guys. Thank you again, Colton. I do have had the pleasure of fishing with Colton quite a bit. He is a phenomenal fisherman. Yeah, I'm always good for one. But yeah, he's taught me a lot. Surf fishing. That's the only time I've ever surf fished. I was, born and raised here on the east side, and I'm still scared of alligators. So he he walks in some places that I would be scared to take my boat, but that's just how he's fearless when it comes to that. So I can't overcome that fear. So, but yeah, one day we was way up there on the top end of Grand Bay and alligators everywhere, and I look over there and he's this deep, he's still throwing up in that creek mouth. I'm like, jeez. But and he always catches fish. He's always good for a bucket full. So when I go with him, I just say, hey, make sure you catch my limit too, where I can take something home. But he's persistent and he knows the surf better than anybody I know, because I don't know many people that surf fish. But I appreciate him as a member and I appreciate him as a friend. He's a man of God, and that means a lot. So appreciate you.